Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome. Okay.
All right, so good morning, everyone. We're about to get started. You can see there are a lot of people from different countries. We have people from
Yes.
Venezuela, from Ecuador, from Honduras. So go ahead and post where you are connecting from, where you're joining us from. Hi, from Colombia too, from
Greetings,
Bogota.
Bogota, Saudi Arabia.
Mhm.
Hi. We have a lot of different places today.
Yes.
Ecuador, Panama. Hi.
Mhm.
Well, I was taking the form, and we have around 25 countries on today's webinar,
Brilliant.
more or less. So that means there is.
So,
Thank you for being here and joining us from such different places. That means it's a topic that caught your attention, and you're here doing some practices with us, and we really appreciate it. Cambodia. Hi, I'm Philippines. Hey,
right.
that's right. Okay. Um, so is everybody in, Miguel?
Um,
Puerto Rico, Venezuela, hi.
yeah, everybody's in.
Okay.
Mhm.
Shall we? Shall we?
Yeah, I think we should get started. Yeah.
Okay. So officially, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first webinar of the Central American and Caribbean Basin TESOL affiliates. This is another series of webinars we are resuming, and we have our first webinar with Professor Juana Espinoza from HELTA TESOL. Before I give the space to Professor Juana, I'm going to refresh some of the information we have. So this webinar is called, the role of blended learning in critical thinking and independent learning development. As the abstract of this, we have this presentation aims to demonstrate how blended learning has an important role in the teaching and learning process and how it contributes to develop academic activities that promote critical thinking skills and encourage students to develop independent learning processes. The participants will learn about experiences using this approach in classroom settings. Before we start, there are two short notes I would like to share with you. Number one, if at any point you would like to make a comment or ask a question, you can just use the sign of the little hand and we'll give you space to share, because as part of the presentation of Professor Juana, we're going to do some activities and it's going to be fun. So if you want to participate using your microphones, just do the signal. And another piece of news is that by the end of this webinar, I'm going to share a link on the chat, and I'm also going to share the link via email for those who attended the live version. So you can fill in the form, and then we're going to issue the certificate in 24 to 48 hours. Please don't forget to complete the form, because that's the only way we have to issue personalized certificates. And I'm going to send that also via email, because I know some of you are following us from Facebook, okay? Thank you to the affiliates who are here today. Thank you to all the affiliates for retaking this webinar series, and especially thank you to HELTA TESOL and to Professor Juana to be the first affiliate to be part of this series. So Professor Juana, floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? I am happy to be here with you, and I want to thank to the organizers for this invitation to let me be part of this important activity. I hope you enjoyed the conversations that we are going to have through this presentation, and welcome. And we are going to start right now. Okay, today I am going to talk a little bit about blended learning and its role in critical thinking and independent learning processes. As Jesus said, my name is Juana de Ayestas, and I am representing HELTA TESOL, that is the English Association for English Teachers in Honduras. And first of all, today, to start this presentation, I want to start with a question. I want you to answer this question. If you want to do it through the mic, please don't worry. And or if you want to share your answers through the chat, it's going to be good. Okay. Okay. So let's start with this question. I want you to tell me. I want you to imagine how blended learning was in the past. I want you to go back, and I want you to, do you remember back then when we didn't have digital technology or mobiles devices or things that we have now? How could you imagine what it could be, or it could was blended learning in the past? Who wants to share? Oh, I'm waiting for you for your answers. I can see the chat here. I don't know if, okay, Mr. P can help me.
Yes, sure. So here we have some comments
Aha,
uh, coming from Jesus, blending non-tech elements, tools, and strategies.
okay,
Um, we also have, after the COVID, blended learning became the most important. Some people say not much really. It was based on instructions. So that's what they generally say about your question over there.
okay, yeah,
And
aha, okay. Well, the question
And
is here, okay? I want you to think a little bit about that, and imagine in that time. But now we have blended learning. And what is blended learning in these times? As some of you said, after pandemic, we are implementing a lot of technology in our teaching practice, but blended learning is defined as the integration of online learning experience from face-to-face classroom learning experience, promoting an interactive process. And what is this? This is that we are going to prepare our teaching and learning process in the classroom. We are going to develop our teaching practice in the classroom, but we are going to combine the online activities to help the students to achieve the learning goal. This is about blended learning. It's not that we are going to be using a lot of online activities without saying what is the purpose of that. Blended learning is to have both classroom activity supported with online activities. But we have to talk about some elements that are important to know about blended learning. The elements of blended learning are the students, the facilitator, that in this case are the teachers, and the technology. As you can see, this is like a cycle in which all of them are going to interact. The elements to build an effective learning or blended learning are the content, the objectives, and the results. The content, because it's the topic that you are going to be teaching through your process, through your teaching practice. The objective, or SLOs, the students' learning outcomes, and the results that you are going to that your expectation, or how are you going to get the results that you want your students achieve. So this is very important because you need to align the content with the objective to get the results and make this part of an effective blended learning. And another important aspect is the classroom learning. As I said before, we need to have our interaction, or our teaching practice in the classroom, and we are going to include e-learning and mobile learning. But now here, I want to talk a little bit about blended learning and critical thinking. As you can read, critical thinking is a set of skills that foster problem solving, reasoning ability, and self-regulation. And how is blended learning helping or supporting this, or shaping this through the online activities? Through technology, technology makes the students to learn or enhance their new knowledge through interacting with technology and the information. So blended learning is helping them or shaping these skills through online activities that let the students to develop mental processes, analysis, evaluation, and application of the information. So in this case, they are linked because blended learning facilitates this process, and students are going to be able to shape their critical thinking skills. But we have the other side. We have the independent learning. And how is independent learning? Here we have the skills for independent learning that are cognitive, metacognitive, and affective. Cognitive because they have to use their brain. The student they have to use their brain, to think, to learn, to read, to understand, to write, to listen, okay? The metacognitive, because they have to adapt the new information to a new context. They have to learn from the prior knowledge, that what the thing that they are learning in the classroom, and then they are going to adjust a new learning through their learning process. And the affective skills that has to do with the values, for example, responsibility, honesty, respect, or the commitment, okay, that they have to have their at the moment to be working as an independent student. So in this way, blended learning facilitate through the online activities, facilitate the independent learning, and provide technological tools to reinforce or practice the new knowledge through the online practice. With this, the blended learning is promoting the self-learning, self-assessment, self-discipline, and self-corrective. So as you can see, with the online activities through the independent learning, they are shaping, or they are connecting to get at the end the skills that independent learning needs. So in this case, blended learning is supporting this, process through the online activities. But it is important to say something. That for these two purposes, critical thinking and independent learning, we find that sometimes we can ask, and how it's going to be, what kind of technology do I have to implement for my blended learning? And in this case, we have the open access technology and the institutionally supported technology that then in this last technology that is institutionally supported, the student have the opportunity to interact with another elements that maybe we are not going to find through the open access technology. But I think that we need to have experience in both of them, because the most important thing here is to expose the students under this process and under this activity of using technology to support or to enhance their classroom learning in independent learning or developing critical thinking. So now we are going to have an action time, and I am going to give you the opportunity to go back to your classrooms. And I want you to imagine that at this time you are students, that we are in the classroom, that I am going to be your teacher at this time. And I want you to be ready for this. The instructions for these action times are, we are going to have a gallery walk in the classroom. Remember that we are in the classroom. You are high intermediate level students. And I want you to take notes from the gallery walk. And after seeing the pictures, I am going to show you in a moment, I want you to set a topic from the picture. Then I want you to search online more about the topic that you think that the pictures are representing. And at the end, I want you to write down relevant facts, maybe 3 sentences, or if you want to say through the interact with your microphone, it's going to be perfect, and then share your information. So I am going to start showing you some, or presenting you some pictures, and I want you to tell me what is the topic, okay? Don't tell me, you are going to take your notes, and then we are going to imagine that we are in the classroom, and you're going to go to use your computer to search about your topic. Then you are going to write relevant facts about that topic and share your information. So, questions so far? No questions? Okay, let's do it. This is our gallery walk, okay? Remember that we are walking around the classroom right now, and we are seeing these pictures. And you are going to tell me what is the topic that you can take from these pictures, okay? This is the other one. Another one. Okay, take your note. Okay. You can share while you are talking, well, while you're walking, you can share with your classmates, okay? And this is the last one, okay? I am going to do it again, just for you to see again the pictures. Okay, and now this is your time to write the topic of this, the topic that represents these pictures. And I want you to go to your computer and find information in 2 websites, for example, find information about the topic, and then you are going to write 3 sentences describing your topic, or maybe you can share through the microphone, okay? I am going to give you at this time, I am going to give you 10 minutes to do this, or maybe less if you're ready before that time, we are going to continue, okay?
Just a small reminder for participants, if at any moment you have a question or a comment, you can use the chat box or use the little symbol of the hand so you can share with us while you do the activity with Professor Juan.
I'm reading the chat right now, okay? Mr. Steeman, yeah? I read that. Is your topic is environment and technology? Yeah, very good. And maybe evolution is Mr. P, okay? Okay, technology, okay. Aha. I can read more, or maybe you are searching. Yes, I am going to give you time. Maybe you are searching for the information. Okay, marine biology, muy bien. Oh, sorry, very good.
There is another one that says my topic is fish.
Fish.
There is one that says, this one is from Juan. He says, mine is sports clothes. We have marine biology, marine life and research,
Okay.
aqua, nature,
Okay.
science and evolution. Technology is the hope of future.
Okay.
Those are interesting topics.
Yeah, very interesting. And I don't know if we can have more participation. With this, the rest of the classmates are paying attention to the topics that the rest are presenting. Technology is the hope of future, okay.
Well, I do have a question on this moment. At this stage of the activity, could students work like in pairs, doing the walk of the gallery?
Yes, they can walk in pairs, or they can go back and see the picture again, try to imagine another thing, try to make some connections, okay? And this is just, it's a short activity that I organized for this time, but you can have more pictures, you can have more elements to help the students to imagine or to guess what could be the topic. And then we have the rest of the activity, that is to search and at the end to share the information.
There are two more comments. One says the word and us, and the other one says the word around us.
Okay, very good. Okay, I am going to show you. This is again, okay, just for some of you that didn't have the opportunity to be at the beginning of the presentation. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know if you're ready to continue with this, or there are some of you that would like to say something, but this is, you were telling only the topic, okay? And now I want you to tell me the information that describes your topic. Because if you're saying that this is about the future of technology, write the description that you find on your searching about this topic. As I told you before, 3 sentences are going to be good to have, like the show of this.
We have 2 more topic comments. One of them says fish scales technology, and then another one says technology is everywhere.
Okay, excellent.
So,
but now I would like to have the second part, because if you had the topic, you were searching about this topic, and now you have like a description of the info, or you can share the information of your topic.
there's already one comment we have. It says, most of our inventions are based upon uses we can find back in nature.
Okay.
And then we have another topic that says technology is a part of us.
Okay.
How would you combine marine conservation, another topic?
Okay.
How would you combine those topics that you're proposing with the ideas and the sentences Professor Juana says? If you had to write 3 sentences about those topics that you are saying, what would you write about them after doing the search Professor Juana is proposing?
Yes, but remember that once you have the topic, you have to go to your computer and research about the topic, and then you are going to find the information. You are going just to paraphrase 3 sentences describing your topic. Okay, 2 more minutes, okay? It says we can find back in nature.
There's an example from someone that says, oh, there's another one. I've written for you. Someone from Facebook shared this message. New technologies combine elements we found in nature. Natural species bring special features that can be used in industries such as textiles and constructions. And then we have one here in the chat that comes from Zoom. It says, over the last 2 decades, the application of science and technology had led to a rapid evolution of sports equipment, footwear, clothing, and accessories.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Okay, let's move on. Now, I am going to give, okay, no, sorry.
I'm really sorry. There is a third one that came just a moment. It says the world around us encourages curiosity in the learner, and it teaches different subjects like geography.
Okay, excellent, very good. Really, really, you are so smart. I have smart students in this classroom, okay? So let's go to the next information. And I have my topic, okay? But what you said is correct. And I am going to show you the topic that was the first idea that I had, but it doesn't mean that your topic is incorrect, okay? Because this is the dynamic that you are going to get your topic and describe your topic, just say walking around and seeing the pictures, okay? So let's see. Sorry. Okay, this is my topic, okay? The topic is biomimetics. And biomimetics is the science that studies nature as a source of inspiration for innovative technologies to solve those human problems that nature has resolved through models of systems, mechanics, or processes, chemistry, or elements that imitate or are inspired by it. So as you can see, this is the topic that represents biomimetics. And and that's why, because as you can see, I am going to go back just for you. The fish was the inspiration for this one, okay? The termites was the inspiration for this building. And now you tell me, what inspired this? Yes, the chalk. And this one that I like is the Velcro was inspired through the cocoa burns. Yeah, this is the first idea. So as you can see, this is what biomimetics does with this taking inspired or designing through nature, that things that we have right now. Okay, let's continue. And here we have some pictures just for you to have the idea, to get the idea about this, how biomimetics works, making us easier processes or inspiring us to use or to respect nature, because nature is helping us at these times, okay? And with all of this, as you can see, you get your own topic, you were researching, you were thinking about, and you were working alone as an independent learning, and you were writing because you are high intermediate level here students. So how can you relate this information that I have here in this slide? Considering your experience through the activity in which I didn't say anything, I just show you the pictures and you got all the information, and you developed the complete process. And now, considering that, or considering your previous experience working with blended learning, how can you define this information? How can you relate it or among them? comments, participations?
Okay, there is one comment that says, students should not just blindly accept facts, but should be critical and investigate to form their own opinion.
Excellent,
And
Mr.
then we have,
Mhm.
and then we have, by creating hypotheses, you made us develop curiosity.
Excellent. Okay, very good. Yes, we have here this information. And the intention with this is to allow you to think about blended learning, critical thinking, independent learning, curiosity, research, analyze, and contextualize.
We have another comment that says, critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action.
Excellent. Okay, as you can see, and you said, and I think that we have more comments about this. And as you can see, through blended learning, we are promoting curiosity, researching, analysis of the information, and the most important thing, we can contextualize the information, okay? We can read about one in a specific information, and we are going to be able to take this information to our context. So in this case, is that blended learning is supporting critical thinking and independent learning. So this is very important as teachers. We need to take care about this, that the curiosity is an element that we need to promote in our daily teaching and learning practice, okay? And our students have to develop this, and they have this, the curiosity to learn, okay? But sometimes we forget that and we don't pay attention to this. So remember, curiosity, research, analyze, and contextualize are the elements that we need to promote through blended learning to shape critical thinking and to shape independent learning skills. Jesus.
There are three more comments I would like to read from participants. One says, blended learning allows learners to develop critical thinking by researching, analyzing, and being curious about the topic with the purpose to learn. It also encourages learners to develop searching skills. There's another
Excellent.
comment that says, through research, you can get a lot of answers to most questions. That's you get learning by yourself. And finally, we have another one that says, critically thinking can be observed when the learners actively engage in questioning their thought process as well as the thought processes of others.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for your participation. So as you can see, this is important because contextualize the information is really, really relevant in our teaching and learning process, because with this, students are applying critical thinking, and when they are researching, as you said, when they are analyzing, they are shaping their independent learning also. Well, now I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of blended learning, and what I have here are some of them. And I think that you can complete this list with the benefit that you consider that the blended learning can provide us, or depending on your experience. Okay, so support, one of the benefits is support academic methodology, meet different learning styles, improve the ability to personalize learning, potential for individual progress, improve students' engagement and motivation, and from passive to active learning, and the sense of community as a teamwork. And I would like you, if you can write in the chat about some other benefits that you consider, and I am not mentioning here. And I promise that I am going to post this list in HELTA page here in Honduras, okay?
Okay, so while participants can include some elements on the list that you're proposing, there are
Yes.
2 questions that we can address on the chat box. What do you think?
About what?
Yeah, I can. No, because there's a participant that says, for example, how blended learning can develop reading skills.
Oh yeah, yes, of course. It's going to depend on the first the content and how the teachers. It's going to facilitate the online activity to develop reading skills. For example, through research. Okay, the students are going to develop reading, and they have the other important thing that with this question that comes to my mind is that we have to take care to provide online activities. Without teaching the students about the validity and reliability of the information. So in this way, we are going to promote, or we are going to enhance our reading skills. Jesus. Okay. But blended learning as an innovation and as online activities that help us to work with our students. We have some benefits for our teachers. And as you can see, blended learning is able to create high interest because this is something new, and we are going to involve the new technologies of the communication and information when we are organizing our online activities. We have the accountability, real assessment, and tailored learning content to learners' needs. But on the other side, we have the benefit for our students that are experiential learning, self-reflection, high interest, and self-management skills. And now, I want to share with you a little bit about how I'm using the blended learning in my teaching and learning practice. And I want to start presenting you this. For example, for grammar and writing, I use this platform that is institutionally supported. And in this platform, students have the opportunity, depending on the level, because this is the relevant information about this platform, okay? That the students have the opportunity to work according with their academic level or English level. And they have like a lab in which they are practicing what we were learning in the classroom about grammar and writing, and they have the opportunity to read because we have a lot of exercises that they have to develop through this platform. And I work with Blackboard, in which the students find information about the class, about the course. They find the content of the course week by week with activities, links, and also they have they can find the assignments, and they can have the grade system through Blackboard. I like to use Facebook because it's a social media and the students like to work with this. But in this opportunity, Facebook is an academic tool because we have a topic and they have to comment, but they have to use academic writing. So in this case, they have the opportunity to use the social media, but they are learning, or they are making some comments or providing feedback to their classmates through using Facebook. And I have the official channel for communication in my institution is the email. Okay, so in this case, students use the Outlook to communicate or to say something about their questions, or when they have to know something. And this email is linked with Blackboard also, so we have an integration of all the platforms when we want to communicate with our students or when they want to communicate with the teachers. And I have, for listening, I like to use, for example, Tech Talks. I allow the students to participate in some webinars, and I like them to use the mobile apps. For listening, they like to work with some apps that we have in the cell phones. And I provide the time, I give time in my classroom to have like 15, 20 minutes just to, I say that just to play, but they are playing, but they are listening and they are learning. So for me, this platforms works very well. And with the Tech Talk, we have the scientific support of the information. So as I told you before, we need to take care about the validity and reliability of the information. And this is one that I use when I am organizing online activity for listening for my students. And now for speaking, I asked them to prepare some videos about information. For example, I connected TikTok information that they have to watch and listen to the information, and then they have to paraphrase that information and record a video presenting the information. And they use YouTube to upload the video, and I have the opportunity to check the video or review the video and provide feedback, or they are using Screencast-O-Matic. It is a free platform, but also it is institutionally supported. And we have the Zoom, for example, Zoom meetings where they are presenting information. At this time, for example, my students are preparing a PowerPoint presentation. We are going to get together, and this time because we are virtual, but in the classroom we can have the same opportunity to prepare Zoom meetings and let them the opportunity to present through a virtual conference. And this one that is very important is I like to teach to my students about the respect of the academic property. And for this purpose, I work with this platform that is Safe Assign. That this is when students present their writing works. They know that we have this that is plagiarism checker that they are going to, they provide an originality report about the information, and we can see if they are committing plagiarism. So this is very important because with this, they know that they have to paraphrase the information, to cite and include the reference in their writing work. So with this, they are learning to respect the academic and intellectual property. And we have this platform that is institutionally supported also, but in open access technology, we have some plagiarism checker or free plagiarism checker that we can use with our students also. And here, it's another part of the online activity that I use with my students, that are the concept map that we have through internet. We have access to some platform to make concept maps, or I like to have the interview activity in which the student have to interview an expert about a specific topic that is important for their academic program, and they organize everything. First, they have to choose the topic, then they have to read about the general information that we can find through internet about this topic. And at the end, the interview is to get specific information that the expert has regarding the experience that they have with this topic. So they organize the interview using the online activity or online interview. And I like to develop, I want to work with developing critical thinking and independent learning, because with this, the students are, have the opportunity to learn, not for that moment, but to use this information in another context or another stage of their lives. And at the end, I have the interaction that is part of a blended learning, because the students have the opportunity to work in groups, make a research about some information, and then they prepare like a mini fair. For example, the topic is innovation, and they present how they can innovate something, the ideas of innovation that they have. And something that surprised me was that some students prepared their own app through the reading, through the researching, through the analysis of the information, and they were presenting this innovation process to their classmates, and preparing like a mini fair. They have the interaction with another students and another teachers in the same institution, and they were working under this blended learning, developing critical thinking, developing independent learning, and then interacting with another audience, presenting what they have done through these activities. And now I want to tell you about learning why is blended learning relevant, because, and I think it is relevant because it shapes inquiry, production, participation, and digital literacy that at these times is very important to develop these skills in our students. And here I have some considerations that we need to take into account when we are preparing our online activities. For example, the first one, that is link the face-to-face and online learning activities with the learning goal. Yeah, in these cases that don't prepare online activities that doesn't have anything to do with the learning goal, or be aware of the academic load and in time to develop the online activities, because for example, in my case, my students are not just learning English, they have another subject. So it is important to have a balance in order for them to achieve the learning goal. And the other one, that is to do not try to use all the technological tools at the same time, because it's going to be like an overwhelming process for the students, and they are going to get confused trying to use one or another one. And for us, it's going to be difficult to for the assessment process. That's why these are some considerations that I have here. And if you have some others, please just write on the chat, and I am going to take that into my list. And now, before to say goodbye, I have your homework. I want you to think about how it's going to be blended learning in 10 more years, for example. And you are going to find a lot of information and a lot of ideas about this. So thank you. This is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you for your participation. It was my pleasure to be with you in this beautiful Sunday.
Okay. Thank you very much, Juana. It was indeed an insightful presentation with a lot of practical elements we can consider. There are a couple of questions, but I would like to read some of the comments first and then take back to the questions that we have, because there are a lot. Okay. There's one that at some point wrote, you can ask students to work in pairs or groups and share ideas based on their prior knowledge. Was one of the comments. And then you have that one of the characteristics or the benefits of blended learning is that it enhances open-mindedness.
Yes.
Is one that is. There's another comment that says, it is a natural development to the growing accessibility of e-learning, online resources, and the continued need for a human component in the learning experience.
Excellent.
There's another one that says, in this style of education in which students learn via electronic and online media, as well as traditional face-to-face teaching, that goes a little with the comments you were saying at the beginning. And then we have several participants saying, thanks a lot, great ideas, great topics, great recommendations, because so many tools mix up my cables. I think that happens to us. And this one, there's a comment that says, I did love, do not try to use all the technological tools at the same time. Well, then there's people talking about the seminar and the elements, and I'm going to some of the questions so we don't skip them. There is a question that was asked before. It says, critical thinking is observed behavior. Are they questioning what they hear or read? If they're focused on answers or on teachers' questions, then there is no critical thinking. Again, critical thinking is ability to question what one experiences or is exposed to.
Okay, excellent. Yes, as you can see, this is the purpose of this conversation. Now you were thinking, yeah, you were trying to imagine some information or some aspects that are relevant for this topic, and that is the intention, okay, that you have to participate and you have your own learning or thinking. Okay, so that's so productive for me. And as I told you before, this is something that I am going to take into consideration when I post what you have on through the chat of this webinar.
There's another question, Juana, that says, how can critical thinking be developed in EFL learners as they have language barriers?
Yeah, in this case, critical thinking can be developed depending, yeah, as I told you before, it's going to depend on the learning styles. And that's why blended learning that give us this benefit to tailor that learners need. So we need to be careful or be aware that we have to organize activity that can meet the students' need regarding critical thinking skills development.
Okay, just for the participants a little note, I'm going to start sharing the link because someone might have to leave. Please remember to complete the form in order to receive a certificate. If you have extra questions, this is the moment to ask them because Professor Juana is here to answer them. And there's a comment that says, blended learning allows learners to form teams in order to develop collaborative skills. The collaboration further allows the development of critical thinking as they engage in questioning the information they are accessing and analyzing information. This also allows the learners to become more entrepreneurial as they learn to adapt to the 21st century skills. Moreover, blended learning allows for learners to develop their oral and written skills.
Can you see we have a lot of information through this topic and how can, what is the role of blended learning towards critical thinking and independent learning development, skills development. So as you can see, we have the information, but sometimes when we are in our teaching and learning practice, trying to do the best, we combine everything and at the end we can get the results that we were working for. So in this opportunity, that's as I told you before, we need to be aware, we need to start our blended learning in our minds, okay, because this is the first connection that we are going to have with blended learning, the way how we are going to incorporate our ideas with technology for our students to get the results. So this is very important. It's not to think, I am going to do this because this could be work. No, you need to have the meta connection to think or to foresight how it's going to be, considering the levels of your students, considering the time they are going to be working with this activity. So blended learning starts in your mind, okay? It's the first connection. The technological tools, they are just facilitating the process, okay? But you are the principal actor to develop the blended learning and to allow your students to be part of this process.
I'm going to read some more of the final comments that we have. There's someone saying, I'm going to look for more information about the blended learning. It's really interesting and useful. Thank you very much, Professor Juana, for this. Another comment says, nowadays, teachers must promote critical thinking and develop digital citizens. There's someone that says, it is interesting this about blended learning. Then we have some other comments.
Yeah, and remember that now, after pandemic, we are not developing, we have blended learning, but the key or the most important element to develop blended learning is to have the classroom and the technology, okay? But now, after pandemic, we are working totally virtual, but we have we can have our blended learning, taking the students into the classroom, letting them to forget that they are at their homes and allow them to think that they are in the classroom. And with this, we are we have to prepare activities that they can forget that they are not in the classroom, and they can, for example, through virtual, how they can interact, because remember, with this new format, so the social aspect of the teaching and learning process is kind of, we are losing that. So students, for example, in my case, when I have my classes that is through this format, I allow the student to talk among them, to say something, to share something that is not for the class, but it's just to have the social interaction among them, because some of them are in for example, in Ecuador, others are in Costa Rica, others are here in Honduras, and they have the opportunity to talk, and I like it, and I enjoy to see their faces when they see each other and they have the opportunity to talk, and not to talk about the class, to talk about their lives. And we have to have these spaces for our students to feel that they are kind of in the classroom.
Some of the final comments also include the fact that blended learning enhances and develops the independence in students is a great advance. Critical thinking is developed when the facilitator motivates learners to question him/her as well what they are researching in order to solve social, economic, and environmental and political issues. You were mentioning just this element important of the facilitator. There's a comment that says, I like how critical thinking is being approached right now. Solving problem skills is a 21st century skill needed for professionals of the future.
And that is a very important participation, Jesus. And I want to say something that for me is very important also, that we need to develop critical thinking as teachers, because sometimes we are teaching, for example, the textbook has information that is not for our context. And in this case, we need to apply critical thinking. We need to use the textbook elements and information, but we need to contextualize this information. Otherwise, the students are not learning to produce the second language. They are learning just in case they have the opportunity to travel to another city or to another country and practice or put into practice what the textbook says. So in this part is very important, our critical thinking towards the information and towards the process and information that we want our students achieve to develop or to produce the second language.
Okay, that's great. Well, there are no more questions, and comments go again on closing. Then we can move a little. Well, this is wonderful webinar. Thank you very much. Regards from Punto Fijo in Venezuela. The issues presented must be relevant to all stakeholders in order to motivate self-independent learning, and 21st century key word for teaching and learning in present time at any subject. I think something that has happened through all of these webinars, and yours included, of course, is that we see that for every topic, there's so much that can be said. We're craving for information right now, for training. We need that, especially during these times. And this is just a sample. All of the questions, I don't know if you see this, can be separate webinars, separate activities, because there's a lot to say and a lot to be shared.
Yes, it is true, because remember that it is not blended learning and critical thinking development and independent learning. We have the other aspect of education as assessment, okay, and feedback. All of these is have to be integrated in our teaching and learning process, but we can have all the information, maybe yes, but we have to go step by step with everything that we are going to be sharing for our professional development.
Okay, so I think that is all for today's session. I'm going to again share the link. Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Juana, for being part of this experience, sharing your knowledge, sharing your classroom practices. Thank you to HELTA Honduras and the regional affiliates for resuming this series of webinars as part of our webinar series. Please, to all participants, do not forget to follow both HELTA TESOL social media and VENTESOL social media, because there are events around. In the case of VENTESOL, every Sunday, there is either an Instagram live talk or a webinar that is being done. HELTA Honduras is also in charge of different projects, and all of the affiliates of the region are also doing activities to help the community on their professional development. So follow HELTA Honduras social media, follow VENTESOL social media, and stay around, because we are providing topics, we are providing experiences, and we want you to be part of that movement that we're creating right now. So thank you very much, Juana. Thank you to the Central
My
American
pleasure.
and Caribbean Basin TESOL affiliates.
Yes.
Have a great day. I'll see you next. We'll see you next Sunday. Don't forget to fill in the information, because we want your opinion. And Professor Juana, would you like to say some final words?
Yes, I just want to say that it was a pleasure, that I enjoyed being with you, talking about these important topics that are relevant for our professional development. And I want to take advantage of this opportunity to invite you all to our HELTA conference that is going to be on November. And we are going to have a lot of presenters, international presenters, national presenters, and it's going to be great to see you in our conference. So you can find information through our HELTA page, and if you need something, please feel free to write to our, we are in Facebook, right? And if you have some comments or questions, please feel free to contact us. And thank you very much. It was a wonderful experience for me. I learned from you that is the most important thing, that we need to be open, that we are teachers and we are teaching, but we also are learning from our students. And that's the part that I like the most, to learn from the students, to learn from you, for example, in this opportunity. And I am going to do my blended farewell, saying that thank you very much and muchas gracias. Nos vemos en la próxima.
Have a great Sunday, everybody.
Okay.
As soon as the webinar, as soon as the recording is available, we're going to share it through our social media. We're going to share it through everywhere we can, and you'll have access to it 24/7 on our YouTube channel to take another look.
Okay, thank you very much, and have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful week in which you are going to be doing or developing your teaching and learning practice. You are the best. Thank you very much.